things are very active in America tonight, aren't they? As we await and see what the or how successful the anarchists can be in seeing if they can produce, for no reason at all, a riot on behalf of the incident that took place in Minnesota. Just as I was coming on the air, I was reading this. I was reading this article from the Wall Street Journal. I don't know who wrote it, so I'm not going to attack anybody in particular. I don't have the front page. I have the second page. I just want to read this to you, and then I want Ted to get ready to play the video that we have. Homeland Security said the agent fired in self-defense after Good attempting to run over officers. But state and city officials have disputed that version of events. I want you to listen to this, Ted. After videos on social media seem to support witness accounts,
right,
that Good was attempting to flee the scene rather than harm anyone. Now, I do not know how you can possibly say that without being a damn liar. The latest video released, the one yesterday, definitively proved that to be untrue when she accelerated her 6,000-pound truck at the agent standing right in front of her, so that at the time he was pinned there. He would have no choice. If he stood there, he'd have been run down by the car. If he kneeled down, he'd have been run over by the car. If he jumped to the left, he would have jumped right into the main portion of the car. If he jumped to the right, there was a slight possibility he could have escaped. There were also two other possibilities that he would have died. One, it was icy conditions.
Right.
You can even see the wheels having a little trouble getting started. He could have fallen and been run over immediately. Or she could have been aiming for him, which is the way it appears, and she would have killed him in that sense. But how you can say she was attempting to flee the scene rather than harm anyone when she ran her car directly into him, he hadn't moved yet. When she accelerated in his direction, as you can see, he was standing right in front of her car. Did they have like a brain tap and know that she was really just trying to escape? She wasn't trying to harm him. And does it matter if she was just trying to escape? And in order to do that, she ran him over, which just for the luck of God turned out not to be murder. I want you to look again. You see, she hits him. She hits him. She hits him again and again. Every time you play it, she hits him.
Well, should we play the new video that just came out today?
Yeah.
So this is new video from today. We'll play it with sound here. This was just released today.
You never got the language, did you?
Yeah, I did.
Can you read it?
That's fine, dude. I'm not mad at you.
That's fine, dude. I'm not mad at you.
We don't change our plates every morning, just so you know. It'll be the same plate when you come talk to us later. That's fine. U.S. citizen, former fucking country.
What a teacher.
U.S. citizen.
You want to come at us? I say go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead.
Don't be so smart. What was that?
Get out of the fucking car. Get out of the car.
Oh!
So the key words there at the end, she said, drive, baby, drive, right here. Listen carefully.
Get out of the car.
The officer said, get out of the car. And who we believe is her wife says, drive, baby, drive. So we'll play this again. Listen carefully.
Get out of the car.
Oh!
Get out of the car.
Oh!
I heard it.
Get out of the car.
Oh!
Get out of the car.
I want you to
Get out of the car.
understand what you're saying is drive, baby, drive. I would think that makes her an accomplice, and she should be arrested immediately if we're really going to be law enforcement and
Right.
not be intimidated by the anarchists, the communists. Now, Renee Nicole Good, there is an article about her in the Wall Street Journal that makes her look like Julie Andrews in Mary Poppins. She was such a sweet girl and such a nice girl. Oh, what a nice girl. How could this happen to such a nice person? She was in college and she was wonderful in college, and she was married and had 2 kids with her first husband. And then she was married to a comedian, and somehow she divorced him. And now she does not have a husband, apparently. She has a wife. And the wife is the one who was encouraging her to hit the agent. The agent was immediately in front of her. And she couldn't have missed having hit him, since you heard a massive smash. So among other things, we got attempted murder. We have fleeing the scene of an accident.
Right.
Now, the only reason she didn't flee is because he put a bullet through the front.
Right.
And in defense of himself, killed her because he had no other place to go where he would be safe. Most possibilities were deadly completely, and the final possibility was extraordinarily risky. And that would be, since he was on her left, his right side of the car, in that quadrant. He could have made an attempt to jump this way. That attempt would have been risky because you see how fast she takes off. If he didn't get out of the way on time, he'd have been thrown over the top of the car. If he got out of the way on time and she decided to just move her wheel just a little bit to the left, if in fact she was after him, she'd have killed him. So he would have to have said to himself in a split second, I don't know, it's worth taking the risk that she might kill me. So let me not shoot. Let me jump to the right. If I get out in time, I get home to see my children, bring them up. If I don't get out in time, if I fall, if she swerves the car in my direction, I meet my maker.
Yep.
He's not supposed to have to make decisions like that. It doesn't have to be that he's 100% certain. It doesn't even have to be if he's certain. The standard takes him out of the equation completely. And like the law does in the law of torts and other areas, it puts in the reasonable person. What would a reasonable person do under the circumstances? Under those circumstances, the real choice to be asked is, would you take the risk of just jumping out of the way with a reasonable possibility that you might not get out of the way on time, that you might fall, or that the car might deliberately swerve, hit you, and destroy you? Those 3 possibilities exist. In other words, there isn't, he wasn't standing on the side of the car as they originally projected and just gratuitously shot her. You will see the hole is in the front. Is in the front. He shot her as she was coming toward him to stop her.
Right.
That's called self-defense in anybody's book. And how how you can say that she was not, as this reporter does, in a news article, which is really an opinion by a pipsqueak reporter. I do not know who this reporter is, but if I were the editor of the newspaper, the guy'd be suspended. He comes to a conclusion after videos on social media seem to support witnesses' account that Good was attempting to flee the scene rather than harm anyone. With her wife yelling at her, drive, what she say, drive, or drive, baby, drive.
Drive, baby, drive.
With her accomplice saying, drive, baby, drive. With a grown man right in front of her. She accelerates as fast as she can. And unlike the account of the lying, sniveling, cowardly mayor of Minneapolis, who once gave up a police precinct,
right.
He's such a pissant coward, right. Who said she almost hit him. That's some almost hit, stupid fry. No, she didn't almost hit him. You're lying as much as the reporter. She hit him, and you can hear it here. That's a pretty damn big hit. Shall we look at it again so that we can overcome all of the lying that's going on?
Right. Well, Mayor, we want to shift topics.
Well, I just wonder if we could show it again. I don't think you were paying attention.
Yeah, which angle?
I want to show the one with the noise.
Not the one I've been playing.
Yes, the one you've been playing.
Oh, okay.
The one that makes the most noise, or the one that came out today.
Okay, here we go. This is just released today. We'll play it in full right now.
That's fine, dude. I'm not mad at you. Show your face. I'm not mad at you. That's okay. We don't change our plates every morning, just so you know. It'll be the same plate when you come talk to us later. That's fine. U.S. citizen, former fucking veteran. You want to come at us? You want to come at us? I say go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead.
Out of the car. Get out of the fucking car. Get out of the
All right,
car.
chicken,
Unlike the lying reporter from the Wall Street Journal, whose name we'll reveal when I get a chance to go back to the front page, and the lying mayor of her car was several inches from the officer, and as soon as it accelerated, it pounded right into him. All right. Now we have on the phone with us former Ambassador Carla Sand,
right,
of Denmark, where we really have two matters of great interest with Carla. Carla is a expert, as I know, having worked with her on Iran and on particularly the situation that's going on right now. And secondly, Carla, of course, having been in Denmark, can give us some pretty good observations on the latest in the president's attempt to gain control over Greenland for the purpose of defense, which America has only been interested in for 130 years, correct?
Correct.
Well, Carl, let's first go to Iran, and particularly your observations. Last time I talked to you, I think we were at an MEK event, weren't we?
We were in Rome.
That's right, correct. At their meeting there. So tell me your observations on what's going on. And I know it's very volatile. Who knows what's going on right this minute? It just keeps expanding.
Right. So as you know, Mayor, we've watched Hezbollah, Hamas, the Houthis all be funded, all these terrorist groups, and this unrest and this death around the world, funded by Iran, by the mullahs. And the people have been fed up. for a long time, and they tried to overthrow the mullahs over and over again. They just couldn't get support from the rest of the world. All of the civilized world stayed silent when the people protested in the street, and the mullahs and the IRGC and all of the hired guns would shoot these kids, teenagers, and beautiful young people in cold blood and let them bleed out in the streets. And we all watched it, and none of us said anything, and shame on us. But today they are rising up, and they have President Trump has their back. So now the civilized world, at least the United States, and I've seen a couple of supportive statements from a few other heads of state. We need more. We need all of the civilized world to stand with the people, even if they're doing trade with Iran. This is an important moment. This is a pivotal moment. The gravity is going to shift in our world when the mullahs are overthrown and the noble Iranian people take back control of their country.
Oh, you're quite right. I mean, it is. I don't want to give it percentages because I'm not really aware of what the percentages are. All I can tell you is this has a good chance of succeeding, and it has a good chance of failing, and a lot of it is going to have to do with the kind of support you're talking about. Way back, I believe it was in 2014. I don't remember exactly. There was an uprising in Iran that was very promising. And I began working with the MEK in 2010 and very, very extensively and very deeply. And I remember our thinking then, and they had tremendous insight into this. We could see pictures of it, that this could do it. And Obama spoke out against it.
I remember.
Because Obama had no interest in freedom. I believe Obama was trying to move us toward becoming a one world communist state. Right. But in any event, it took the life out of the demonstration. The next day was half. Yeah. The Iranian guard got particularly vicious. Right. The papers today describe them as pulling their punches. Now
well, they have warned, right? They were warned by President Trump.
Right.
If you go and track them, I'm gonna come in. And so I think that they're on notice, and I hear that they're headed for Russia. Is that true?
I don't know. I mean, is it true that there are rumors to that effect, and solid ones? Yes, there were rumors that he has an exit plan to Russia. Whether he's going to execute on it or not, I don't know. And the reality is, 36 people dead is terrible and awful. Sure. But in a normal circumstance like this, without Trump saying that, you'd probably have about 2,000 dead. Since I've been working with MEK, without any uprisings, just the ones that I could count, they've killed about 2,000. Inside the country, probably about 8 or 10,000.
Yeah. And let's not forget, when people call them a designated terrorist group, that's because Clinton, under pressure from the Mullah regime, did that. Oh, yeah. He did that because of pressure. That was wrong, and it was removed and expunged. So it's not. This was a job that the mullahs did on these people that wanted to take the control back from the mullahs for their country.
And they are, and the MEK and the overall institution, the National Council for the Liberation of Iran, have a working group that has been for 15, maybe longer years, been prepared at any moment to take over, to guide a transition with a promise that they would not be seeking office, and they would just be guiding people into office.
Right. And what it's a setup, like they've got a government in waiting. They've set up a government ready to take control.
Which is anti-nuclear, pro-American, significantly pro-women, run by an acting president who's a woman. Yeah. So we've got to hope that this can happen. I mean, it could and it could not.
But it's closer today than it's been, I think, since the mullahs took our hostages from our embassy. I really think or the terrorists. I really think that this moment is closer than we've been since, was it 1979, Rudy?
Ambassador, I think you're right. I can't think of any that has gotten this close.
No.
And this is the first time the Shah has inserted himself.
Huh?
I've been with them. I've been with them many times under great stress. I was with them twice when my life was in jeopardy. And those people are in jail, so we're not exaggerating anything. People are in jail in Belgium and in Albania for coming and trying, in one case, to blow me and Madam Rajavi up, and in the other case, to blow me, Madam Rajavi, Newt Gingrich, Judge Mukasey, a whole group of people up. I never remember the Shah being any place where they might blow him up. I remember him being using the money he stole from Iran to be fat and happy, and
Yeah,
now
hanging out in L.A. and Paris, I think.
yeah, and now he's ordering around the protest. I'm going to tell you, he's got nothing to do with the protest. I watched the protest from Albania being orchestrated in 2018. I know who orchestrates the protests, and I know how it's done, and it's not that near the well.
No.
So.
It's a psyop. He's got a psyop going, and I think that the mullahs are helping him because they're going to work together.
And he's paid off a lot of people to be on his side because he's got a lot of money that he stole from them.
Rudy, there are a lot of fancy people that like him. I'm just saying.
They want to get their hands on the oil like they did the first time when they put his old man in and got rid of a democratic government. But tell me about Denmark. I've got to ask you about Denmark. I mean, it had died down for a while.
It did.
And the president is now raising it again.
Yes.
Secretary of State Rubio says it will be a deal. But I've always thought it would be, why don't we pay them?
Well, let's see.
Why don't we offer them money if they come into the United States as a way of acclimating themselves, like $500,000 or $1 million a person?
Like a COFA, like a free association pact, kind of like we have with Palau and Micronesia, where they get to have their own government, they make their own rules, they're in control of everything. We give them some business support so that American companies can risk their capital in a really risky place. It's hard to do business there in every way. And then also that they have some development. So they want to have good jobs and prosperity and help their tourism industry and help their mining, but they're not secure. Here's the bottom line, Rudy. There's two main factors here I think nobody's talking about. Number one, Greenland has said they're going independent. They'll go independent in this century. In the 2100s, they will go independent, just like Iceland was part of the Kingdom of Denmark, went independent in the 2000s. In the last century, in the 1900s. Like around the world time of World War II, Iceland went independent. Greenland's going to go independent. There's only two countries that can really secure Greenland. It's the US and China. Maybe Russia could. I don't know. They're a little extended. It's not a huge economy. So they're going to be secured by us or them because nobody else can. And there's those huge waters, and so Denmark's a little economy about the size of the state of Colorado, 5.5 million people, a little more. They have no chance of securing Denmark, and they have no ability to develop it. They've never tried. Now they're saying, oh, we're putting billions into Arctic security. Rudy, it's a drop in the bucket. They cannot afford to secure the region. I promise you. They've got an extra dog sled up there. They're buying a little bit of our equipment. That's great. God bless them. That's not going to get the job done. That's the first thing. They can't secure it, and Greenland's going independent. Now, the second thing is that in the NATO charter, they keep invoking their prime minister, Mette Frederiksen. She keeps saying it's going to sever NATO. It will shatter NATO. Of course it won't. Every country depends on the U.S. in the NATO charter. Every country depends on the U.S. for their security. And Article 5 says we're going to come to the defense of our friends. That's the NATO charter. But Article 3 in the NATO charter says every country that's a member of the pact has to have the ability to defend their own territory. Tell me one day that Denmark can defend Greenland. Not one day in the year.
Of course not. You know the reason why it's so short-sighted It actually is it's for the defense of all of them.
Right.
Greenland is placed in an area that could be enormously helpful to the defense of Europe and the United States, or
Absolutely.
that could be a major threat to Europe or the United States. Now, they
100%.
desperately want us in NATO because really we're the only real military power. Well, shouldn't they want us to be running the key place? I mean, we're not doing this for our benefit. We're not going to make money doing this.
No, it'll cost us, but it's good for our security and the security of our allies. And like President Trump said, the security of the world. And it is shaped like a keyhole, Rudy. It's shaped like a keyhole. It is the key to Arctic security and North Atlantic security. And this is NATO is the North Atlantic. So it is literally important for us to have control. I don't know what President Trump will do, but I know that he hasn't even made the first offer. So I met with the ambassador yesterday from Denmark and the Greenlandic representative, and they were going to go meet with, the Hill and the White House. They're going to, Secretary Rubio is going to go meet in DC. I believe it's in DC with their foreign secretary, and the foreign secretary is the former prime minister, Lars Løkke Rasmussen. And hopefully the meeting goes well, and the Danes will say something like, let's have a dialogue and figure this thing out and not go oppositional with President Trump, because President Trump understands the stakes, and Denmark's a tiny country, and it could go very badly if they don't have the right attitude, I think.
Yeah, and we have the capacity to do what has to be done there. Now, how do the people of Greenland, suppose we do reach an agreement with Denmark, which I don't know how likely that is. What if the people of Greenland don't agree with it?
Well, I think it's really up to the people of Greenland. They are a semi-autonomous country, so they get to decide whether they want to be part of U.S. or part of Denmark. But I'll just tell you right now, they are in Stockholm syndrome. The Danes have done such a psyop on these people. America bad. They've done press on it. They've done polling. They're saying very negative things about the U.S., where we were really friendly with Greenland by the time I left. I had put a consulate in Greenland. We had a great relationship, doing more partnering with them, the U.S. and Greenland. But Denmark's so terrified they're going to lose this gigantic island that they can't afford to own, that they've really poisoned the water. So I think it will be a process.
Well, let's hope. We'll keep in touch. Thank you very much, Carl. It was excellent.
Great to be with you. Thanks, Mayor.
Hope to see you soon.
Hope so too.
Well, that was a terrifically helpful
She's
report,
great.
huh? Yeah.
Isn't she great?
And here's my proposal. I'm going to make it official, and we'll put out a little podcast on this, Ted. Short one.
Yeah.
And here it is. I officially propose that the United States offer to the people of Greenland a fund of money available to them to help their integration into the American economy because of the disproportionate nature of the per capita income of the average American and the people of Greenland.
Right.
I would say we should offer them, should they vote for being part of the United States, $500,000 per person to assist in their initial orientation into the United States. And then a vote on statehood within 4 or 5 years. And upon becoming a state and therefore, a full citizen of the United States, including being able to vote for president, we would offer them we would give them another $500,000 to assist their further integration and ability to grow their economy, so they could take the benefit of all of the things America has to offer. Now, this proposal is in comparison to what? Denmark will not do that for them. They've had the opportunity to do it for a century or more. They haven't. Second, for the purposes of NATO, Denmark is not capable of offering the defense that is necessary to protect us and to protect Europe. This should be a massive military installation that protects the United States and Europe. No one is capable of doing that but us. That would also create a very, very vital economy for the people of Greenland. And finally, if we leave it in a weakened state, they become prey to a possible, and I think the ambassador was correct about this, Chinese takeover. As a Chinese location and base, it would be catastrophic. It also would be if the Chinese did it with the Russians. And in either case, the only way to really close that off permanently is not to leave it with Denmark, who doesn't have the resources to secure it that way, or to bring economic prosperity to the people of Greenland. Not to leave it open so it can be taken by one or another of our enemies and the enemies of the West. The answer is very simple, that the United States should take it, originally make it a possession, give the people of Greenland who are going to remain there as citizens a significant amount of money so that they can integrate into the United States. I'm proposing $500,000 a person. And then upon voting for statehood, another $500,000 a person, which would be $1 million within 4 to 5 years. And that would give them the opportunity to have full and complete lives. They would be able to participate and also catch up on the education that's going to be available with the tremendous amount more opportunity that's going to be there as a result of it's becoming a major American military installation. Finally, you should know that the pressure on the president to do this, I don't know what that was, but the pressure on the president is enormous, because when you combine this with Alaska, which is that kind of sophisticated base, you now essentially have goalposts, don't you? Right at the circle. You got Alaska, which is one of the most sophisticated defensive bases in the world. And that's what Greenland should be. Now you try coming over the circle and attacking us. Or you try coming over the circle and attacking England or France or Italy. Not going to happen. You try coming across the Pacific, we got Alaska. You try coming over the Atlantic, we should have Greenland. Those who are opposing it are either pro-communist, anti-American, or just extremely silly people who have no ability to conceptualize defense, not only in the modern world. I mean, this is a matter of common sense. These are the two ways over the globe. It also cuts down the distance between one and another that can respond, even if the attempt would be over Canada. This would be tremendous protection for Canada. And Canada should be joining us in doing this, and NATO should be embracing it. It should be part of NATO. So let's hope that the ambassador, who knows this issue really, really well, was a great ambassador to Greenland. And she's right. When she left, we probably would have won a poll with the people of Greenland that America was very popular. In the last 3 to 4 years, due to the fact that we had a president that was non-compass menace and an administration that probably favored China taking it over, a lot of that has been flipped by the Danes against America, with a lot of stereotypes about America. Now, we can change that. It may take a little while with public relations, but I do think the idea of giving them money to integrate into the United States. It makes a great deal of sense. I mean, we're talking about what, Ted? 40 billion, 50 billion?
In Minnesota alone.
No. The amount of money if we did a million a citizen.
Oh, sorry, Denmark. Yeah, we did the math this morning. It ended up being something like 56
billion. Okay.
And that's if every, yeah.
Suppose we had to buy it for 56 billion. Would it be worth it? Of course it'd be worth it. Not only that, although it is a little bit difficult to mine there, we are the one that have methods to do it. It would be another addition to our independence in getting the rare minerals and earth that we need, where we rely too much on China. And Trump has made a major effort to break us from that within the next 3.5 years. This would be a leap forward of. I mean, we're going to spend that money just trying to do that elsewhere. We might as well get two for the price of one.
Right.
So that's my sales pitch. And this is an acquisition that has no other purpose other than the national security of the United States. And if they would understand it, this is better for the national security of Denmark.
Right. Imagine. That's right, Mayor. And you know, bad hair day. And Mayor, my question to you, as someone, you know, you have so much experience working.
What are you, a woman? Bad hair day?
Yeah.
What is that? Bad hair day?
We got this new camera angle here.
Yeah, I know. Even with his bad
hair
hair day, we get all these things. Can I have a date? And do you go out on dates and all this other stuff?
The best wingman in America, right here. All I got to do is say, I know Mayor Rudy Giuliani, and I've never been turned down. So, Mayor, we see all this happening. How is it not America first to reestablish America's dominance, of course, over the Western Hemisphere? But even a situation like Denmark,
I don't understand that. The isolationists are so pinheaded that they saw what happened in Venezuela as a violation of isolationism. Meanwhile, for the last 10 years or more since Chavez has been there, China's been working really hard developing 2 ports there. Oh, yeah, to ship goods like hell, to bomb the United States and kill you and take you over. You want your grandchildren to speak Chinese or English? What do you think? We sure as heck don't want them to speak Muslim, right? So, well, that isn't really Muslim, but Arabic or whatever the hell they speak. So it'd be nice if we lived in just a beautiful world where everybody loved us and we loved everybody else, and we could just sit here in isolated America and not worry about the world. But it is, of course, just as extremely stupid to be knee-jerk interventionist, which we also have in this country. But it is impossible to be an isolationist and be president of the United States. You can't protect us. It's the reason why Rand Paul's father was such a danger. And I ran against him to eliminate him because his position, he also thought that we were responsible for 9/11. I don't know if Rand inherited too many of those genes from the old man.
That's right. Didn't Ron Paul run for president?
Ron Paul did it in a debate, and I ripped the living daylights out of him when he did it. He tried to blame 9/11 on us, and I ripped the living daylights out of him. And McCain and Huckabee and Romney were all very upset because I was the one that came next after them. And they said anybody who got that opportunity would have won that debate. And McCain was nice enough to say, well, maybe you wouldn't have done it as good as Giuliani. The rest of them were sure they'd have done it better. And maybe they would have. But I got the opportunity, and I got a standing ovation at the debate.
Man, we got to bring back some of those debate moments. That
I made a fool out of the stupid old man, which is what he was.
You made a fool out of Ron Paul, and then President Trump made a fool out of Rand Paul.
Well, what Rand Paul did
8 years later,
yesterday, he should never be forgiven for.
That's right.
I'll never forget it. I mean,
not just Rand Paul.
But that doesn't have to do just with president. It has to do with the presidency. and
Right.
interfering with a future president as well.
Right.
And if they think those idiots who had to close down for a month and a half can defend us at a time of crisis, they're out of them. I'm going to depend on a group that's half crooked, at least,
Right.
and then the other half, works less than teachers.
Right.
Whew.
So, and
Who?
of course, with Rand Paul, you're
Is everyone looking at this person who's looking back at me?
not yet.
Now, who is that person?
That's what we'll put her on. That is Suzanne Collins, one of the other, the 5 Republicans.
wonder
who
she
voted
votes
with
against Trump.
Democrats. The
So-
audience
so-
is not seeing that. No.
So she voted to stop Trump from doing anything else in Venezuela.
Right.
She'd rather have a communist run Venezuela
Right.
and all the oil will go to China. That's really good. That's really that.
Yeah.
Way to go, funny face. Well, let's take a short break,
Okay.
Ted.
That's right. So we got a lot going on. folks,
After
but
all,
we
we're
do-
not communists here.
And we got to pay the bills and kind of got to get reset here. We got another great guest coming up. You'll want to stick around.
And we're gonna discuss with a professional his view of what happened in Minneapolis.
That's right. So stick around and we'll be right back.
U.S. Army Major Scott Smiley paid a high price serving our nation. Scott was leading his platoon in Iraq when a blast sent shrapnel through his eyes, leaving him blind and temporarily paralyzed. Scott would become the first blind active duty military officer before medically retiring years later. Thanks to friends like you, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation gave Scott and his family a mortgage-free, specially adapted smart home. Show your support for America's heroes now. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org.
Are you ready for some action?
I'm ready for action.
Get the Elite TV plan only through the portal. 218 channels, and it's only $69.95 a month,
Wow.
including your free portal.
That's cheaper than everyone else.
Your favorite sports, movies, news,
Wow.
even daytime dramas. We're talking about ESPN, OAN, Newsmax,
Wow.
channels you can't get anymore in certain areas.
Compared to the competition, this is a way better deal.
Endless selection. Not to mention all the free music channels. There's over 700 premium and classic movies all ready to go.
Wow.
Plus, they got catch-up TV that allows you to go back and watch what you've missed or want to watch again. Cut your cable in half and get twice as much for free.
Way more channels for half the cost.
After the first year, the subscription then drops to $57.95 monthly,
Wow.
where you change or upgrade anytime. Go to QUXNow.com and get yours today. Use promo code RUDY. Act fast. These deals are selling out.
Here we are, pretty much at the beginning of the process here at this pristine, I call it a laboratory. It's not like a factory, it's like a hospital. This is the beginning of the process for roasting. Deep grain, very good quality. Most people don't use this quality. We deal with small farmers because they like to know who we're dealing with. They give us the highest quality, all organic, non-GMO. You should know all Arabica beans, no Robusto, all Arabica. They're going to go into the roaster and it'll get roasted for about 20 minutes or so. Oh my goodness, look at these. My goodness. You're going to want to specially order these. This is what goes into Rudy's coffee. Welcome back. It's Rudy Giuliani, America's Mayor Live. As we said, the mayor, the mayor of, let me make sure I quote him correctly. The mayor of Minneapolis has called the explanation that the driver, Ms. Good, was driving toward the agent as bull. saying the woman didn't appear to be trying to hit the agent. No, Mayor Stupid, she didn't appear to be trying to hit the agent. She did hit the agent. Are you out of your mind? I mean, I know you're the only mayor in the history of America to give up a police precinct, which makes you a ridiculously embarrassing coward, and someone that helped to create and enable the riots of 2020. Because when they saw you give up a police precinct, they thought police were easy prey. You get a lot of responsibility for the increase in police shootings and police deaths by giving up that precinct. And now to say this, with all your foul language, the F word and this and that, look, pal, you're a little frickin' sissy. We've watched you do your silly dancing. We've watched you make believe you like Somali food. You don't even fake it. How the people of Minneapolis have you as a mayor for 5 years after you gave up a precinct, it's hard to understand, except I don't feel that I can criticize coming from New York, where we got a guy that's a communist and Islamic extremist lover. So it's got to be Democrat voodoo that creates you. So we have with us
There's Jacob.
the founder of Blue Lives Matter, who's been with us before. Joe, how are you?
I'm doing very well.
And Joe, should we play the video for Joe so that he can see it?
Put up Joe first here.
There he is. And Ted, why don't you play the video?
So this is the clip we've been playing all show.
First, tell us, Joe, how long were you a member of the police department?
20 years.
20 years.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what kinds of things have you done in the police department?
Plain clothes, mostly in the detective bureau,
Mhm.
investigations, warrants, search warrants with narcotics,
Right.
all hands on.
So here, I guess, to make it simple. This guy is faced with what to do when there is a possibility his life is in jeopardy. And the question then becomes not was he right, but was he reasonable? Is this what a reasonable cop would do under the circumstances? Not the only thing, but is it one that's reasonable?
Right.
And since you've been on the force for 20 years, I'd like to get your sort of analysis of it. But let's take, when they first showed this, it was very deceptive. First of all, you couldn't necessarily see the cop. And it appeared as if the cop shot her after she passed him. Well, that would be one thing. But now when you see it clearly, the bullet hole is in the front window, which means he had to make that shot while she was coming right at him, meaning the 6,000-pound truck was within inches of killing him. So go ahead, let's play it.
Let's play a full clip with audio, and then we'll have Joe break this down for us. So let's play the clip again.
Where can you see it, Ted?
I'm gonna put it up right on the screen here.
The big screen behind me or that one?
That's fine, dude. I'm not mad at you. Show your face. I'm not mad at you. That's okay. We don't change our plates every morning, just so you know. It'll be the same plate when you come talk to us later. That's fine. U.S. citizen, former fucking veteran. You want to come at us? You want to come at us? I say go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead.
Out of the car. Get out of the fucking car. Get out of the
All right,
car.
take it back.
Oh! Out of the
All right,
car.
take it back.
Get out of the
All right,
car.
take it back.
Oh! Get out of the
All right,
car.
take it back.
Oh! Get out of the
All right,
car.
take it back.
Oh!
I can't make it out, Ted.
Five Baby Drive.
And Five Baby Drive, when the police, oh, now I heard it.
get out of the car. If she's really doing her, the opposite order that law enforcement officer get out of the car. You said drive a drive.
That's okay. We don't change our plates every morning, just so you know. It'll be the same plate when you come talk to us later. That's fine. U.S. citizen.
In front of our left headlight.
You want to come at us? I say go get yourself some lunch, big boy.
Do you want to show yesterday's too? Just so we have a full picture of it. Because this shows it from a different angle. There you see him getting in front of the car to stop her, and then the car hits him. You don't hear that tremendous noise, but
So we'd love to get. So of course we have Joe with us, and he is the founder of Blue Lives Matter, New York City.
yeah, Blue Lives Matter obviously is an organization that was founded to protect police officers after the terrible number of attacks that were caused by Black Lives Matter, including killings. And they are constantly having demonstrations saying pig in a blanket, fry them like bacon. And then people would go out and beat up cops, kill cops.
To make sure that the family members of the cops being killed, their loved ones didn't die in vain.
Right.
All the nonsense going on.
And to reestablish respect for
Yes,
them.
sir.
Yeah, and you've done a great job.
Thank
it was
you.
a terrific counter effort. And now with President Trump, and it must be the fact that this agent kills someone has to be terrible. But it's so different if you know that your boss is behind you and going to treat you like fairly and like a human being, than throw you to the wolves like a de Blasio or a Dinkins in my day, or this guy they have now, the communist, would do.
Well, it's absolute staff. Christy Nome.
Yeah.
You have the vice president coming out, not just one person, have an entire administration say it how it is with a video that shows the world exactly what happened.
So what choice does a police officer have when that happens? Because they're just like police. These are people who were harassing them all day, interfering with. In fact, they belong to a group, and the group is trained in harassing police officers. She was described as one of her girlfriends as she died as a great warrior. I mean, almost as if, it's better that she died. She died as a great warrior. They're dedicated to stopping ICE. So ICE at this point was in the middle of, I think, trying to arrest a pedophile. So his fellow officer tells her not to move and to stay there and to come out of the car. Looks like she's going to refuse, and he gets up in front of the front to stop her, and then she accelerates into him. What choice does he have?
Well, Mr. Mayor, we got to go to the beginning of this. This wasn't
Please,
a
that's what I
lawful
want
car stop, right? This was not a car stop initiated by the ICE agents. This woman, which no one's talking about, took her car on her own will and blocked the street. Completely blocked the street, putting those officers in fear for their safety, worrying, is this going to be an ambush? Is there going to be other vehicles
Very
that
good
could possibly
point.
come up to us?
Which happens a lot.
Yes,
I
sir.
mean, that's a typical tactic. I guess we should also add to this, unbeknownst to the American public, because they've been hiding it for a year. They specifically use cars as weapons.
Yes, sir.
It's gone up 1,000%.
Yeah.
It's gone from 62 to 3,000 in a year.
Yeah.
Meaning, this is something we all know that a car is a deadly weapon, but they specifically, repeatedly use it as a deadly weapon.
And another thing they're not speaking about too much, this agent over the summer was struck,
Yes.
incurred over 30 stitches,
Right.
was dead on. Now, we spoke to many people. I spoke to many people. And at first, like you said, the videos were very deceiving. You couldn't see it. But I think the video released today makes it clear as day by the sound of the vehicle hitting him and striking him. You cannot dispute that, where he definitely feared for his life and felt that there was imminent death or danger to himself or the people around him.
How does it feel, Joe, doing your job? And you of course, are in charge of an organization trying to combat this. But how does it feel when you know that, not all, obviously, but a big portion of the public is kind of inspire hate for you and for what you do? I mean, does it discourage people? Are you getting less recruits? You think the performance isn't as good? How do you deal with it?
Mr. Mayor, it's more disturbing that our politicians are the ones going out there and degrading police officers. It's more of a problem when you see other police chiefs going out there and speaking negatively about the other work that law enforcement is doing. The public is the easiest thing to deal with. It's the internal stuff that you see going on that could be completely avoided. You have politicians all across this nation putting targets on the back of law enforcement that if they just sat there and spoke the truth to the public, Mr. Mayor, at the end of the day, the federal agents going out there with probable cause to make an arrest, almost like a warrant, and they're going out there for apprehension attempts. Once again, no one's speaking about this. So why are we talking negatively about the cops trying to get bad guys off our street?
Yeah, and the press. here's something in the Wall Street Journal. This is not the politicians. This is not the activists. This is just the reporter who's not, of course, supposed to have opinions in a news article. And this is what he writes. Homeland Security said the agent fired in self-defense after Good attempted to run over the officer. But state and city officials have disputed that version of events. After videos on social media seem to support witnesses' accounts that Good was attempting to flee the scene rather than harm anyone. Where do we see her trying to flee without harming anyone when the first thing she does is smash into a human being directly? And so how does the guy write this? I mean, this is very discouraging that he can't even write a neutral, objective. He's interpreting what we can see, and it's completely opposite of what we see.
And leaving out the verbal commands that multiple officers gave to stop the car, get out the car, get out the car. I think at one time they've used profoundly, get out the effing car.
Yeah.
And what did she do? And once again, the possible wife says, drive, drive, drive. Right, something along the lines of
all
that.
that's left out.
Yep, and the problem here is God forbid it was the other way around, and that ICE officer was killed. What would the narrative be? Would she have been hailed a hero? Would he have been hailed a hero? Why are we letting situations get out of hand that are now going across our nation, having nutbags protest in our streets that's going to turn violent? We know that it's putting our community and our officers in grave danger when you get up there and you say that these officers are wrong when they weren't. This officer was put in a terrible situation. It's an absolute tragedy that somebody lost their life, but at the end of the day, there needs to be accountability for the actions that people take.
Yeah, I mean, it is a tragedy that she lost her life. I think it's a tragedy that apparently she was a different kind of woman a few years ago. At some point, she was radicalized, and she became part of this group. And they say she was trained to disrupt arrests. Now, if you're trained to disrupt federal arrests, you got to assume someday you're going to get killed. I mean, federal agents, like police officers, do not allow you to interrupt their ability to make an arrest. If they did, criminals would go free all over the country.
It's absolutely ridiculous what's going on here. It could be completely avoided. These politicians want to make a difference. You know this. They would go sit down with President Trump today and say, we will give you the information you need to pick up the people that are detained. But in return, let's make a deal where you don't go into communities. And I guarantee you the administration would say, no problem, thank you. But instead, they're playing politics and it's costing people their lives.
Well, yeah, they secure these people. And there seems to be some kind of unholy relationship between the politicians, the government, and the Somali people there to pull down over $9 billion. $9 billion is a lot of money.
Mr. Mayor,
So far in fraud in one place for one group of people that had just come out of the jungle. Holy gosh.
But we got to look into it even deeper is how are they getting the information, these people, to know that those ICE agents were going to that exact block to create, a law enforcement operation?
Maybe when
the
they
inside is giving the information away.
Maybe when they contact the police for help and the police say no. I mean, remember the police there are under orders not to cooperate with them, which I can't understand how they get away with that. I can't understand how you as a police commissioner can say, don't assist the federal agents. You got a responsibility to help enforce federal law. You're taking oaths to the Constitution and the laws of the United States also. So how much progress do you think has been made, Joe? You tell us when you started Blue Lives Matter.
After the deaths of Detectives Ramos and Liu in 2014.
Yeah.
And that's probably the worst with the Eric Gardner situation and the Michael Brown and
that was the funeral, isn't it? Where the police turned their backs
Yes, it was.
on de Blasio, largely because they blamed de Blasio for it. De Blasio had accused the police department of being racist, which it wasn't and isn't. And this guy from Baltimore comes all the way up to New York. He skips Baltimore. He skips all the places in New Jersey, and he comes to the place that de Blasio had fingered as racist. And this was an execution.
Yes, it was.
He shot him. He shot these two young guys right in the back.
And like you said, he put on social media he was going to have pigs fly.
Yeah.
And he did. These poor officers, right before Christmas, lost their lives. And you see how far these families have come, Maritza Ramos and Sandy Lou, and starting foundations and doing great things out of tragedy. That's what we need more of. We need to go back to letting the people of New York City know that the residents appreciate them. We shouldn't have to worry about another 9/11 to happen, for planes to go into towers, for over 3,000 people to die in one day. We should be standing side by side, stopping the nonsense and bringing the city back to the greatness that it once was.
Yeah, I mean, I think somebody should be concerned about the mental health and well-being of this agent who now has to live with something he never wanted to do. Right? He's gonna relive this forever. Should I have done this? Should I have done that? Should I have done this? It's like the people that are suffering from PTSD from 9/11 that I work with, who have remorse, who feel I should have died. Why did he die? I was on this side, he was on that side, and it hit him, and I'm alive. Why am I alive? I mean, I've had unbelievable conversations with cops and firefighters over this. I mean, God decided. That's why it happened that way.
If these politicians put as much energy into going out there after criminals, their cities would be the safest they could ever be. But to go after an officer that was just doing their job, put in a terrible situation, and made a split-second decision, we can't have that. Things got to change.
Well, you've done a great job in New York and in the country with Blue Lives Matter. Thank you. Thank you for how's it doing? How's the organization doing?
Amazing. It's the best it's ever been. We're going to keep growing.
Good. And tell people how they can contribute and how they can join.
They can go to www.bluelivesmatternyc.org. They can support us by donations. They can purchase merchandise. They can come to events.
Do they get a magazine?
Nah, not at this point. But just the support. That's what we need. As you know, sometimes just saying thank you. You go up to a cop in the street and say thank you. Just changes the day.
Yeah, well, you listen to that. This is the time to do it. When you see what they can do to police officers, this has to be done because unfortunately, except now for the Trump administration, the government basically double crosses the police, particularly Democrat government. Ooh. Well, we're going to take a short break, Mr. Ted.
Yep.
And we'll be right back. And Joe, thank you very much.
Sir, thank you for having me.
Keep in touch.
Yes, sir.
And Joe, how can people support Blue Lives Matter?
Well, I just did that, but what were you doing?
I'm sorry.
Well, let's do it again. Let's do it again.
Sorry, no.
Let's do it again. Let's do it. You're probably talking to his girlfriend.
That's it.
Let's do it again.
Then go to www.bluelivesmatternyc.org.
And Mary, next time, call him after it's over. All right?
So we'll be right back after these short but important messages.
U.S. Army Major Scott Smiley paid a high price serving our nation. Scott was leading his platoon in Iraq when a blast sent shrapnel through his eyes, leaving him blind and temporarily paralyzed. Scott would become the first blind active duty military officer before medically retiring years later. Thanks to friends like you, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation gave Scott and his family a mortgage-free, specially adapted smart home. Show your support for America's heroes now. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.
Are you ready for some action?
I'm ready for action.
Get the Elite TV plan only through the portal. 218 channels, and it's only $69.95 a month,
Wow.
including your free portal.
That's cheaper than everyone else.
Your favorite sports, movies, news,
Wow.
even daytime dramas. We're talking about ESPN, OAN, Newsmax, channels you can't get anymore in certain areas.
Compared to the competition, this is a way better deal.
Endless selection. Not to mention all the free music channels. There's over 700 premium and classic movies all ready to go.
Wow.
Plus, they got catch-up TV that allows you to go back and watch what you've missed or want to watch again. Cut your cable in half and get twice as much for free.
Way more channels for half the cost.
After the first year, the subscription then drops to $57.95 monthly, where you change or upgrade anytime. Go to QUXNow.com and get yours today. Use promo code RUDY. Act fast. These deals are selling out.
Here we are, pretty much at the beginning of the process here at this pristine, I call it a laboratory. It's not like a factory, it's like a hospital. This is the beginning of the process for roasting. Deep grain, very good quality. Most people don't use this quality. We deal with small farmers because we like to know who we're dealing with. They give us the highest quality, all organic, non-GMO. You should know all Arabica beans, no Robusto, all Arabica. They're going to go into the roaster and it'll get roasted for about 20 minutes or so. Oh my goodness, look at these. My goodness. You're going to want to specially order these. This is what goes into Rudy's coffee.
Welcome back.
Well, speaking of New York, since Joe comes from New York, yesterday the federal government made a very, very important group of arrests in New York. And this is a group of people. They are, if I recall correctly, mostly Dominican illegals. And they this summer shot an off-duty Border Patrol agent who survived but was severely injured. They were arrested yesterday. They are all illegals with multiple arrests and convictions already. Some of them, having been in the country only a year and a half, have 3 and 4 arrests and or convictions. They all seem to specialize in perversion. Disproportionate number of this group of illegals that has come in under Biden tend to be sexual perverts. You've got so many who have, 2 of these have illegal lewd acts with minors. The one that took the police officer and the ICE agent and drove him along in the truck had raped a 7-year-old girl. I mean, I noticed these when they come along. It's rare that you find an arrest of 3 or 4 of them where you don't have a couple of what I would call perversion arrests, preying on children. I'm going to tell you what it reminds me of in my long and experienced life. You're going to be surprised when I say this. It reminds me of the United Nations. You have no idea that probably one of the most perverted assemblages in New York is the United Nations. The number of times the New York City Police Department has to come in and he's beating his little girl, or he's raped his stepdaughter, or he's beaten the living daylights out of his wife, and then he pulls out diplomatic immunity. I can't tell you how often that happens. They commit crimes often enough that in the 8 years that I was mayor, I would get a report every week and meet with the police commissioner on Thursday at 4:00. It was about a 7 or 8 page report. There was a special section for the UN crimes. And I don't think there's a week that went by that didn't have a couple of them in there. Sometimes they were minor. Once 2 big, fat Russian communists beat the living daylights out of a police officer. Got up from behind him, surprised him, and just beat the hell out of him for fun. And I went to President Clinton to have them thrown out of the country, and they had diplomatic immunity. They couldn't do it. Just so happened that Russia wanted to expand its mission in Riverdale, New York. I pulled the permit. They said it's illegal to do that. I said, well, there's only one way to find out. You can sue me. And you know how long I'll tie you up in court? Well, until I leave office, at least. Within 2 weeks, they sent the Russians back to the shithole, Russia. But that's what you got to do. And I got to tell you this, There was never a mayor who did that. I mean, it was never a mayor who I made them pay their tickets.
Mm-hmm.
I refused to service them if they didn't. I pulled security from their missions if they didn't pay their tickets. Like everybody else, they should pay their parking tickets. Russia owed us $24 million.
You get it?
In order, yeah, I get it. It was a bribe. They paid me the $24 million. I let them expand their mission. Otherwise, they weren't going to expand their mission.
Well, I always had this highfalutin, real, idea of what the UN was before I spent so much time with Mayor Giuliani.
I mean, I did when I was about 4 years old. But,
yeah, well,
no, I
okay,
remember the first time I went to the UN. I was impressed as hell.
Right.
And then I was already completely clear on how useless they were. But I think the thing that topped it off for me was during the Clinton administration. So Democrats are always much more favorable to the UN than we are because they don't. UN, like the Democrats, doesn't like America. So, but Clinton, when he was dealing with Eastern Europe, all the problems in Serbia, and they asked him once, "Why don't you bring in the UN to help?" He said, "The UN never helps. I mean, when was the last time they solved a war? Never. They didn't end the Second World War. They didn't end the Korean War. They didn't end the Vietnam War. They didn't end the wars in the Middle East. They had nothing to do with the Abraham Accords. They're supposed to bring peace to the world. Instead, they operate as a Islamic extremist terrorist group. That whole group that brings aid to the Middle East, half of them belong to Hamas. And the UN supports them, and our money supports them until the president has defunded so much of the UN. I don't know what we're giving them now. There was a big complaint by the Secretary General that we're not giving them anything. Of course, I cheered and made a toast to the president when I heard that. But
right, and of course,
like my proposal tonight about what we should do about Greenland, or from $1 million a person,
I might move to Greenland, Mayor. I might move to Greenland
to integrate into the U.S. We want to keep them. We don't want them like being part of the U.S. and they're way behind everybody, right? We want to bring them in and make them feel important. But in any event, my suggestion for the UN was, and I should not have said this because this got me in trouble, but it was before 9/11. I said, as a figure of speech, which I was used really by repeating the words of my predecessor, Ed Koch. Ed Koch hated the UN because they wouldn't do away with the Zionism is racism resolution that they passed when the U.S. was missing and wasn't able to veto it. It took 22 years to remove it.
Because of a simple miss? Because
of a miss. But they finally was during maybe the Reagan administration. But in any event, when most of the time Koch was mayor, they had that resolution. And Koch hated the UN. He used to constantly talk about the best thing in the world is we could blow it up and sell the real estate. We'd make a lot of money from them. He used to say you should blow up the Board of Education too. Of course, he didn't mean that. Nowadays, when you say blow up, it has it all together. But I one time said, but I tried to make, knowing that he used to get in trouble for it, I said, we should do a controlled demolition of the UN. And we should put Yankee Stadium there.
That's a good piece of.
What a great place! You could be hitting home runs to the East River. While you're there, you could show the background of the Empire State Building, right down the river, the Statue of Liberty. It would be the most famous stadium in America.
Right.
I even proposed it, and Mike originally did, as a site for the Olympics, as the stadium for the Olympics. But we got shot down on that.
Wow, that's a great location. That's right there on the.
By the way, if we made it Yankee Stadium, and we made it a stadium that could be flexible and be enclosed, it would make a lot more money. Oh, you got in dealings with the UN diplomats, Mayor Giuliani pulled no punches.
Yeah, right. I'm trying to find video.
That's November 22nd, 2016. Yeah. That's
love
true.
it.
That's true. So the UN is a very, very exaggerated, useless institution, and which does more harm than good,
I gotta read that real quick.
and costs New York City more money than we make from it. Everybody thinks we do really well because all these international people come in and whatever. Most of the international people that come in are a bunch of crooks and freeloaders.
Right, you taught me that. You're so right.
The people who come in who are the people they hate, the rich people. Those are the ones who pay our bills.
The ones
That's
connected.
why
to
I
all
do
these-
not understand a mayor like this communist who doesn't want any billionaires. You can't afford. New York City can't pay its bills without a bunch of billionaires.
Right, that's a complex. That's a complex.
Just the energy alone is like.
I mean, just Manhattan
my-
alone is like it's an unbelievable.
Do you know that the private sanitation business in New York is a multi-billion-dollar business? People think of someone in the sanitation business as, oh, poor guy's in the sanitation business. You got a private sanitation business in New York City, you're definitely a millionaire.
It might be a billionaire.
You're a multi-millionaire, and who knows?
Well, after you straightened it out and
Well,
got the corruption out.
now most of the people there do not have crooked noses.
Right.
But at one time,
Oh my goodness! Well, I
at one
can't
time,
imagine
you
this.
had to go see Matty Ionello if you wanted a route. Matty the horse would make sure you got all the routes.
Now, is that a nickname people said in front of him, or is that one of
No.
those
That was a
nicknames that you said
nickname they
behind
would
his
say
back?
in front of him because of his skill as a gambler.
Ah,
He worked for Fat Tony Salerno, who developed a layoff betting
really?
in the
Oh,
era
yeah.
before all this betting, electronic
read,
betting, right? Suppose you're a bookie in New York, and this is back in the ancient days in which teams like the Giants and the Jets used to compete in the postseason.
Yeah.
New Yorkers now
Yeah.
would not know what the postseason is in
It's been
football.
quite some time.
They know it in baseball because of the Yankees and the Mets, who do pretty well.
Yankees.
Well, the Mets do. The Mets have been in, half the time in the last 10 years, maybe third of the
point.
time.
That's a
They're
good
not
point.
out of it.
Right.
But, I mean, you don't know what goes on with the Giants and particularly the Jets.
I've learned a lot about the Giants through you.
Well, the Giants at least have 5 Super Bowls,
History.
5 wins, 2 losses, 4 wins, 2 losses.
Right.
The Jets have that one Joe Namath win
That's it.
that's so far back they didn't wear helmets back then. Right?
Right.
So before we finish for the weekend, because this is a football weekend, there's a lot of serious stuff to pay attention to. Venezuela, what's going to happen there? Of course, what's happening in Ukraine. Putin has turned down another offer, and he's now using more advanced missiles on Ukraine. Third, are they going to be able to pull off nationwide demonstrations? My prediction is no. And I'm going to tell you why. Because a very good job has been done by us, Ted and I, and our similar kinds of broadcasters,
Right.
which would include Newsmax and Real America's News and Fox, of getting the other side of the story out. When Floyd was killed, nobody got out any other side of the story. It wasn't until months later, if not a year later, that we found out he died of natural causes. It wasn't until then that we found out that it's quite possible he would have died if that officer never even touched him, because he was beyond human in terms of the amount of drugs he had in the system. And we found out what an animal he was.
Right. But of course, we found.
And now that doesn't mean he should die. It doesn't mean he should be killed. And maybe it means the police officer committed a crime or not. You can argue that separately. It sure means you don't do a statue to him.
They deified him.
Yeah,
Murals,
right. I want my kid to
statues.
grow up like him. The main thing he's known for, he either killed himself or he got killed by a cop. Resisting arrest.
Like you said, Mayor, the truth doesn't come out until the damage was done.
Yes, and
Property
everybody sat by.
Electoral damage, right? They use that to win the 2020 election. They use that to.
But this,
demonize
I
law
think
enforcement.
we've grown our side, and when we were talking to Joe with organizations like Blue Lives Matter, and our side realizes now we have to fight for ourselves.
And I wish we talked to Joe about this, but But even that, you know, saying blue lives matter, they tried to call us racist for saying that, right? Or white lives matter. You were a racist for
We were
saying
only
that.
saying it because we were left out.
How about all lives matter? They
Well,
said
that's
we weren't allowed to say that. All lives
Isn't
matter.
that
was racist.
Isn't that what we believe in as Christians and Jews
and as Americans?
Muslims don't believe in that. Muslims do not believe that the lives of infidels matter. I'm sorry. I mean, where do we have the Quran? Do we have it over there? No.
I think we keep that away.
I keep it away so nobody has to smell it. But I have it in my room. Unfortunately, I have 5 copies of the Quran, and I'm inviting any of you Islamic lovers to come debate the Quran with me. I want you to tell me that Islam is a religion of peace. And then we'll start going through the Quran chapter by chapter. Oh, and then I'll do something else for you. I'll reorganize it the way it was actually written, because it isn't written that way. It isn't laid out that way. It's laid out in a deceptive way. The largest chapter first. So you go all over the place and it's schizophrenic as hell. In one place, you got Muhammad saying how much you should respect the Christians and the Jews. In another place, you got him saying they should all be killed. And people pick what they want. And the second chapter is the second to last chapter. And the second chapter admonishes people to kill or subjugate Christians and Jews. It also lays out as a rule for Muslims that you should not be friends with Christians and Jews. Now it's the second chapter. They have a rule, the Islamic scholars do. It's called abrogation. Abrogation means that if something is said at the beginning chronologically, right, by Muhammad, and then he changes it later, it's what he said last that counts. But when you reorganize it to the longest chapter first, all that stuff he's saying in the second chapter about not being friends with Christians and Jews or killing Christians and Jews is contradicted by things that are in the Quran later, but was said earlier. And every knowledgeable Muslim knows that. So I have the book done by Muslim scholars, reorganized in chronological order, and boy, does it end with quite an exhortation on killing you and me. And now, 1,400 years of their carrying it out. I mean, no one has killed more Christians than the Muslims. No one. Present day, they're slaughtering Christians in Africa because they're Christians. Christians aren't slaughtering them. They're slaughtering the Christians. So it is critically important that you listen to us. I know that sounds terribly egotistical or whatever, or someone like us. And there are a couple, Bannon and other people. But we go out of our way, like we did here with the killing of this woman that was completely justified. From the very beginning, we've gone out of our way to show you the other side of it so you get the truth. And at the beginning, I read the report from ICE, and the report from ICE said he was standing in front of the car. And even when you look at the deceptive first video, where it looks like he shot her from the side, which would have made it more questionable, you do notice that somehow he's being pushed there. You don't see the impact of the car. So we started digging, right?
Right.
Yesterday, we got the first one that showed he was hit. And today we got the one that shows he was smashed. Big difference, huh? Backs up exactly what the vice president said in the defense of him, which was eloquent.
Right.
backs up exactly what Christy Nome said that night. And God bless her for going there. She got up from Washington, cozy, beautiful Washington, right? And flew all the way to Minneapolis so she could back up her agent. That's a leader, not a scumbag like Biden had. That's a leader. No, not worrying about public opinion. The job of a leader is to correctly guide and inform public opinion, not to be intimidated by it. You watch us, we'll help you do that because you need the facts. How do you fall somebody when they read this stupid thing in the Wall Street Journal? It makes it like it's gospel that she was not trying to hurt anybody. And then you see the two videos and the one in which it sounds like he was hit by a 10-ton truck. Actually, he was. Well,
right.
We have a big weekend coming up. If we need to, we'll come on. If there's any emergency
Like
or
last weekend we were on Saturday.
Who knew why? And all of a sudden we were there.
Venezuela.
And a lot of people have been liberated since then and on their way to liberation. Let's hope pretty soon we come on and tell you that the Ayatollah has taken the Orient Express in the other direction to Moscow. I don't think it goes to Moscow. It starts in Istanbul and it goes to Paris and then underground but maybe they could develop an Orient Express and put the Ayatollah on there and he can spend all his time praying for you and me and all the Jews to die. Which is what he does every Friday night. They chant in Tehran, death to Israel, death to America. And nobody wants to tell you this, death to the MEK, which he has listed as his biggest opponent. Meanwhile, all you read about in the Western press is how they're really not really players. And we'll get into that with a podcast in a lot of detail next week. We've got a lot of people lined up to explain to you how you could transition that government very, very quickly. It's a different situation than the one we faced in Syria. It's a little more similar to Venezuela, but even easier. So
that is live. The reports are that he does have a plan similar to Bashar al-Assad's plan to flee to Moscow if the Iranian army is unable to control the unrest or if his own security forces turn against him. So they are planning.
I think there's another even more realistic possibility. They're going to want it. The Council of Elders, who are the ones that determine the Ayatollah, may want a shot at having a younger person there. I mean, in a way, just think practically. You got one of the things that you've got to learn to do. You got to think like a crook to catch a crook. Did you ever hear that? Well, you got to think like a terrorist, or you got to think like an Islamic extremist to catch them. So if you were them, you don't want this old man as your figurehead now, right? As the people are in chaos, they're looking at this old man who's falling apart. He's got a younger son, about 50, who's dying to take over. He has no religious anything. But this guy didn't have much religious anything either. They just make believe. They're thieves. They're not holy men. They're thieves. So his son, Khomeini, is one of the candidates for the throne, and there are two others.
Sadiq Larijani,
who had been a prime minister or a president, Larijani.
Right.
None are improvements over him, by the way. But they are younger, more vital, could inspire maybe more confidence in the people. I mean, they're leading with their worst hand right now. Fallen apart, old man who people blame for a lot of internal stuff we're not even aware of, which is what these riots are about.
Right. The riots.
So they might just pack them off to Moscow and take one last shot at keeping the theocracy.
Right.
In fact, I don't see why they don't do that.
Yes.
Because now some of the people that I talk to who understand Iran say The Ayatollah has such a hold on him that if the Ayatollah went, a lot of people would break away. I honestly think they're wrong. I think the Ayatollah is more now a problem for them than a.
Yeah.
And the whole religious experience of it has been gone a long time. I mean, even the people of Iran realize it's complete bullshit. This is an organized crime terrorist group where the mullahs are not priests, they're not anything but the enforcers who collect the money.
Right.
So it is. I do expect that there will be some attempt to get rid of him and do a replacement before democratic forces can be put into place. So let's see what happens.
Time will tell. As we saw with Venezuela and of course Syria before that, this can happen very quickly.
Well, yeah, if he goes, we'll find out about it, when he's in Moscow, probably.
That's like Syria. Right.
So pray for the people of Israel. Pray for the people of Ukraine. They're still being pounded for no reason at all now. That war's over, except it's a matter of dividing things up in some kind of way where each side gets something and each side loses something. But Russia doesn't want to do that. Russia wants to take everything and set up a situation where they can take more later. But we're going to have to put enormous pressure on them and beat the living crap out of them economically before they fold. And I think now with Venezuela gone, I mean, they don't have anything left. Syria, Venezuela gone, China really having a hard time dealing with a possible, well, your government really can't have a bankruptcy, but I mean, they're completely in debt and all out and have made all kinds of promises to all these countries that they can't keep. So let's see what happens there. Pray for the people of Iran, who we've talked about. Pray for the people of Venezuela, who really, really need it. Since we mentioned it, let's pray for the people in Africa who are being persecuted like the early Christians were. And this is on Sunday, the feast of the birth of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, which is another remembrance of the miracle of God becoming man. So if you're a Christian, go to church. And if you're Jewish, hopefully you're not listening to us, you're in the shul. Or go there tomorrow morning. We got to bring God back to America if we want to save it. We're not going to do it. We're going to help. We're going to help with our life and with our breath and with our wit and with our conscience and with everything else. But it's only going to happen if we put all of our confidence in God. I know the president does, and I want you to do it. God bless America.
And go Pack Go.
That's for the... It's our purpose to bring to bear the principle of common sense and rational discussion to the issues of our day. America was created at a time of great turmoil, tremendous disagreements, anger, hatred. There was a book written in 1776 that guided much of the discipline of thinking that brought to us the discovery of our freedoms, of our God-given freedoms. It was Thomas Paine's Common Sense, written in 1776, one of the first American bestsellers, in which Thomas Paine explained, by rational principles, the reason why these small colonies felt the necessity to separate from the Kingdom of Great Britain and the King of England. He explained their inherent desire for liberty, for freedom, freedom of religion, freedom of speech, the ability to select the people who govern them. And he explained it in ways that were understandable to all the people, not just the elite. Because the desire for freedom is universal. The desire for freedom adheres in the human mind, and it is part of the human soul. This is exactly the time we should consult our history. Look at what we've done in the past and see if we can't use it to help us now. We understand that our founders created the greatest country in the history of the world, the greatest democracy, the freest country, a country that has taken more people out of poverty than any country ever. All of us are so fortunate to be Americans. But a great deal of the reason for America's constant ability to self-improve is because we're able to reason, we're able to talk, we're able to analyze,